Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Bob Audet, Data and AI Partner with Guidehouse. Today I have the distinct pleasure of talking with Kim Weis, Chief Data Officer of the state of North Dakota, and really to learn from Kim and her experience at the state of North Dakota and the journey that she's gone through as a CDO in defining, approaching data strategy and making the state of North Dakota a more data-driven state that hopefully other CDOs, especially across other states and localities, can really learn from her experience that she has applied in her current role. So, Kim, welcome to the podcast series.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we've got a few interesting questions, that we'll sort of talk through as we go through this. But one is, would love to kind of understand a little bit about kind of where the CDO is organized within. I know this is always an age-old question that industry grapples with, of like, where do you organize the CDO? And I want to kind of get a sense of where the CDO is organized so that viewers can kind of understand and how has this at all influenced some of your approach as it relates to defining your data strategy for the state? Because my understanding is you've embarked on the process of defining a statewide data strategy.
Yes, yeah, we have. So in North Dakota, the Office of the Chief Data Officer is actually housed within our centralized IT organization, so North Dakota Information Technology. So I report to the CIO of NDIT. Historically, I think it's interesting because Dave's been viewed, at least in North Dakota, but I think elsewhere, as often an IT function or something that IT owns. And so this has naturally led us to, I think, some great opportunities, but also some challenges as we've been working on and thinking through and developing our statewide data strategy. So in terms of, the right future state for our technology and our data related solutions, our home and IT has provided, I think, a really great advantage, just simply by providing a natural conduit or collaboration with our colleagues in IT. So it really has allowed us to benefit from already established relationships with the technical side of things, which has been really helpful. So we haven't had to, reach across and find the right people. We work directly with those folks, and that's made it a little bit easier. I think on the flip side, with data and our data strategy having a home in IT, we've had to then really ensure a strong collaboration with our agency stakeholders. So in some cases, this meant that we had to build and start from scratch new trusted relationships, especially on the data side, because we didn't have the luxury of some of these a long history and long partnership with our stakeholders who ultimately own and know their data best. So we've learned already, even before implementing our data strategy, that building and maintaining trusted relationships, these relationships, has been absolutely critical to the success of building our modern data culture and the start that we have.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think this notion of strong collaboration with agency partners and stakeholders, building that trusted relationship, I think it definitely sounds key to some of the successful path that you're on. Curious though, from as a state does become more data driven, as you think of how critical is governor or more senior level appointed officials sort of engagement in shaping and supporting the data strategy? Has that been a key part to the success for the state? And it'd be interesting to kind of know, like, how that sort of, as other states try to embark on this, like how they can kind of forge that relationship to kind of make that successful.
So I think it's been, again, really, really essential to any sort of traction that we've made with data. So in North Dakota, I consider us incredibly fortunate because our governor is also an IT guy. And so from day one, under Governor Burgum's administration and his leadership, technology and data have really been a focus for for his administration and therefore for his cabinet. And so the leadership within the cabinet agencies. And really, again, I'd say the governor has been probably our strongest supporter and champion for modernization, again, for driving the insight-driven, data-driven decision making, really for everything that we're trying to focus on. And then I think the other really great thing is our governor has been really focused on and enforced, or empowered, I should say, encouraged, just us remembering why we're here. And I think that has also been incredibly helpful, just to recenter us on what we're here for. Our jobs are here to ultimately serve the citizens and the residents of North Dakota, to improve outcomes for them. And so that focus, that regrounding, has been really, really critical. I've worked in state government for almost 20 years now, and I've been a data practitioner for that entire time. And as I've matured in my own professional and career path, I experienced firsthand as a data practitioner some of the struggles that really led us down this path as well. I felt what a lack of data governance meant, what a lack of any sort of coordinated effort meant. I felt the need for modernization. I felt the need for lack of resources. So I think, especially in the last 10 plus years or so, my team and I have really been beating the drum, I would say, on the need to invest in data. And sometimes that was a struggle because that wasn't the priority. But again, going back to our governor's support, his cabinet support, it really has helped with the understanding of that need for not just data, but the need for quality, governed, trusted data. And I think the other thing that really propelled our movement a bit naturally was just what resulted from COVID. And again, I think everyone felt and saw the need for quality data that was trusted, that we could actually reproduce the same number that we reported yesterday. So that also, I think, has contributed as well.
No, I love that. I would be curious, from your 20 years of working in government and also in data sort of focused roles, for other state CDOs that maybe don't have as much of a IT focused, or a governor or leadership with as much sort of tech data kind of focus and interest in kind of modernization. Any sort of recommendations that you might share with them on what they could do to kind of drum up that same level of senior level support?
Again, I think some of this maybe naturally has been done. So even without that support, like you referenced, in our governor, I think some of it just naturally, over what we've experienced in the last, 4 to 5 years, have really it's developed an understanding again, and just an awareness of the role data can play in running their organization and their business. I also think that what maybe another factor that's naturally helping is just the explosion of AI right now, because I think we have a lot of our agencies coming to us, and they're very interested in wanting to participate in this and jump on the AI wagon. But I think in some cases they don't really know what that means. But when you start talking about the true, like realizing the true benefit and potential of even AI, and how essential, and again, that critical building block is data, and quality data to get anything meaningful from some of those solutions, I think that also kind of sparks that awareness and that interest. And suddenly it feels like you have some advocates that maybe you didn't have before, because now they're thinking about data differently. So I think some natural things have happened. But I think the other piece too is we've just it's an ongoing conversation that you have. And I think when you have an opportunity as well to visit with business or your customers regularly, and they might mention a symptom that they're having, it's just a great opportunity to kind of teach, I think, and explain, I guess show them again where data can lead them to. So if we prioritize that, a lot of other things will naturally fall into place.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I'm definitely, from my own experience and working with different data leaders, and even in the recent State of Gen AI Today survey we did in collaboration with the CDO magazine, I love your comment to like data is a key building block to AI because the survey revealed exactly what you talked about. I mean, it definitely is creating a lot more interest. The other part is like 76% of the 242 respondents highlighted the fact that poor data management and governance are hampering their ability to actually take advantage of true capabilities around AI. So I think your comment is spot on, at least for kind of broader umbrella of AI. So now love your thoughts, and um, you know, I'm obviously aware of the fact that you are executing, or you've recently just completed a statewide data strategy, and I'm curious, like as other states and CDOs and other data leaders across other states as they are embarking on their journey to become more data driven, um, how critical, and you've touched upon this already a little bit, but I'd be curious if like how critical is engagement with other state agencies throughout that development of that data strategy, and what techniques or approaches would you recommend that other CDOs employ or use to make sure that data strategy works for the entire state and the agencies and yields the ultimate value that it's intended to produce?
Sure. Um, so, and I think I mentioned this previously, but engagement with other state agencies is essential, I think, for the success of any sort of statewide data strategy. Otherwise, I think without that, you run the risk of building this data strategy and then it just collects dust because it's not meaningful or useful or helpful for
Mhm.
the agencies. And so in North Dakota, again, we have a centralized IT for our executive branch agencies. So as a result, we really needed to ensure that our data strategy and anything that resulted from that, so anything supporting a modern data platform, um, that those were developed to meet the huge variety of use cases that we have and needs across our agencies. So that collaboration again and that partnership and engagement is just it's so critical.
Mhm.
Um, as far as engagement, we kicked off our data strategy effort by partnering with two large and highly visible organizations within state government here. So we partnered with Health and Human Services and then also our Department of Public Instruction, which is our education department. And as our data strategy and roadmap were completed and we were starting to move into the execution phase, we began socializing the data strategy and roadmap as often as we could. And so we did some of that through some formal, meet and greets kind of and road shows, I'd say, for our data strategy, but also just in conversation. And it's amazing to me too that as this work started, um, conversations that just came from it, or you'd have a conversation, and again, you might tap into some language and some pain points that agencies were having, and it was a great opportunity to start talking about
Yeah.
the data strategy and what it would mean and how it could directly benefit agencies. So, we were actively seeking to educate agencies on our strategy and their involvement and their need for participation. So we really wanted to engage over and over and repeatedly and be available and just have those ongoing conversations. We were also, and we attempted to be proactive with our governor's office and our cabinet as well. And so our prior CIO, who recently departed, was really, again, I'd say foundational in having some of those conversations and really advocating and gaining awareness for the strategy as well. And so I had an opportunity to present to the cabinet a few weeks ago. And again, those are our executive branch agencies. And so, bring them up to speed on the work we've been doing, what it was, why we were doing it, how a data strategy would directly benefit the agencies. And again, so that tied with where things are at with Gen AI again, it just really all of that encouraged and supported that ongoing conversation with our agency partners. And then I think the other piece that I really want to mention is we didn't do this alone. So we recognized early on that we didn't have the bandwidth, we didn't have the expertise to really do this on our own and start this journey with a data strategy by ourselves. So we partnered and brought in a very strong vendor partner to support us in this effort with the expertise needed. And I think they have been critical as well in just helping with the organizational change management and the communications piece. That is just it's again, it's something that you have to continue, I think, to press the gas on that. Um, Once the momentum starts, you want to keep that going. You want to keep the excitement going. And so any opportunity to again engage and re-engage and just have those conversations, informally, formally, has been really helpful.
Yeah. So I'm definitely hearing early on picking the right sort of partner agencies to build early on traction and engagement and willingness to kind of want to collaborate and participate on development of the data strategy. Definitely hearing education and ongoing education of why we're doing this, what the value is, continuing to have that sort of continued engagement with governor's office and cabinet leaders and having other leaders really being part of that engagement approach. Um, and the other part that I'm hearing from you as well, just to sort of summarize some of this for our viewers, is it's not a once and done type of approach and engagement. It's a journey. It's a continual engagement as you start to pull the thread on the strategy and bring it to life for those agencies.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, in fact, what you just said is very similar. The wording is very similar to what I've said as I've talked with the cabinet and just some of our other government leadership, is exactly that. Because I think too, we often have the tendency to think that we invest once, we complete something. So data strategy is written, we have our roadmap, we know what we want to do for implementation, so check. Or in 1 or 2 years, when we've implemented and executed on the strategy and some of the priority projects we have, check, we're done. And so I always tell them, this is not a one and done. This is something that will be ongoing. And really, it's not a project. It's not even an initiative, right? This is something that is just an ongoing need. It's a program. And ultimately, what I'd love to see too is it's not even that. It just becomes woven into the fabric
Yeah.
of everything you do every day, where you don't independently or separately think of data as some separate creature, but rather it's just part of your typical thinking and decision making process. Governing data, all of that is just it's part of who you are. It really is part of the culture. So that's really what we're going for.
Kim, really appreciate the investment of your time and your insights. I think other state data leaders can certainly greatly benefit from the insights that you've shared, and I certainly hope individuals, watch this podcast and take notes. But I really want to thank you for joining today, and I encourage the viewers to visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews and also watch this podcast. So, Kim, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. I enjoyed it so much.